I think nowadays we all hear about mental health. I mean, it's become it's become a big thing. And I think that conversation for me, Mwalimu, is important. But also it's important to recognize the limits of how the academy approaches issues of healing. We know of communities. I come from a family where people had issues about whether you want to call it mental health or instability and so on and so forth. And there's a very different way I saw my grandmother and my grandparents, approach that. The understanding, even the diagnosis of what is it actually that's really happening to this individual. So in the analysis, the community included itself, at least in Uranga where I grew up, in explaining why so-and-so was experiencing this. But from what I've read, what I've studied in psychiatry, the tendency, and in psychology, the tendency to individualize things and say, okay, let's put it this way. The tendency to fail to connect the health of an individual to what is happening around them in terms of the politics, justice, and so on and so forth, for me is a fundamental failure. I don't know why the academy does that, but again, that's a rhetorical question. Because as a colonial institution, then the regimes of the way we approach research, the way we approach teaching, and so on and so forth, will be influenced by that. I mean, I see it even in peace and conflict studies, where conflicts are only seen sometimes as, it's a matter of communication between two individuals, it's a matter of anger management, and so on and so forth. And so, no, but you need to ask, where is this anger and everything else, coming from, and so on? How is it connected to our own institutions of justice and so on? So, for example, as soon as Frantz Fanon makes that connection, the whole conversation about psychiatry changes. As soon as Frances Wessling makes that connection between psychiatry, she was a psychiatrist, with the issues of justice around people, then the conversation changes. And sometimes I look back and ask myself, is it a mere coincidence that most of the people who are at the forefront of radical social change were also either medical doctors or psychologists and psychiatrists? So you can say Frantz Fanon, you can talk of Frances Wessling, you can talk of, in the Philippines, you can talk of Enrico Virgilio, we can talk of Che Guevara, we can talk of Steve Biko and Mampela Rampele, because as soon as these thinkers and practitioners made that connection between the mental health or the psychiatric challenge an individual was facing with what was happening in the community and in the society, then we have an entirely different conversation.